Hey, what's up? Do you ever think about some part of your life in particular where you had a lot of fun memories and you think like, man, those were the good old days, right? And when you think back about it, there's some aspect of it that you're missing in your life now. And you just think about, oh man, I didn't realize that those were the good old days when I was going through them. And I didn't appreciate what I had back then because I didn't know that it was going to go away, right? So, for example, if I think back about college, you had all this time and energy to hang out and didn't have a responsibility. But while you're going through it, you're kind of just like, this is just what it is. Like, you don't have anything to compare it to. But when you think back on it now, you're like, oh my God, I wish I appreciated it more because I didn't realize this is going to be the last time in my life where I had so much freedom and no responsibility, right? And then you think about the other side, like probably at some point in the future, you're gonna look back at your life right now and be like, "Oh man, those were the good old days," because of X, Y, Z, whatever it is. But right now, when you're going through it, you're kind of just like, "Eh, whatever." This is kind of how life is like, right? And you're not really appreciating it as much as you probably will in the future. And to be fair, a lot of that's probably perception as well, because when you think back fondly of the past, you kind of only think about the good stuff that you remember, and then when you're thinking about your current situation, you're probably thinking about all the bad stuff you're currently dealing with, right? So it's not really a fair comparison. Kind of like whenever you think about something like another situation, the grass is almost always greener because you're thinking about the positives and down over there, and you're thinking about the negatives over here. So it's not really a fair comparison. But that being said, I think transitioning from your 20s to your 30s, there's a lot of situations where you realize, oh my God, I didn't realize how good I had it, and all these things I was doing, I can't do them anymore, and I should appreciate it more when I was going through it. Hence, this is why you think those times were the good old days, right? For me personally, what I noticed the most transitioning from my 20s to 30s was a lot of the social aspects. I'm probably like 75% extrovert, so a lot of my social aspects, like hanging out with friends, partying, doing stuff, going on trips, like that was really common back then. And as you get older, it just becomes less and less. Whether it's because of time, or because of responsibilities or just interests, or just whether or not your body can handle anymore. That's a big factor as well. You just don't do it as much, right? And you just don't really want to do it as much either. But you think back on those times, like, oh man, those were the good old days. Luckily for me, I did a lot of stuff when I was in my 20s, but I didn't realize that was my last chance to do it. And like, for example, traveling, like we traveled a bunch in my 20s. I've probably been to like 30 countries in the last 7 or 8 years. A lot of times I didn't even want to go. My wife made me go, but I'm so happy that I was able to do it. So if you're in your 20s right now, I highly recommend just do as much as you can because you don't know that it's gonna be gone. So thinking back on this, I so what I do for fun now, I find fun is like I'll hang out with some friends and we'll play board games or whatever. And I'm just thinking, okay, at some point in the future, that's gonna be a luxury. So I'm trying to change the way I think about my life now, where I'm trying to appreciate everything I'm able to do now. Even though compared to before, it's not nearly as quote unquote fun or exciting, but I think it's fun for me now. And I know in the future I'm gonna look back and be like, oh, I can't remember. I remember I had so much time where I could just spend playing board games with my friends, right? So especially now with everyone having kids and everything is a lot more difficult. So I think the point of this video is just really think about what you can do, like what you have now from like I guess a objective perspective, and just really appreciate it. And then think about right now is the good old days. And if you can appreciate that, as long as you do, when you get older, when you look back, you won't regret it. All right. Hope that makes sense. Talk to you soon. Thanks.